asked one of the friends of the show, Rena Sarigianopoulos. She's an anchor over at KARE 11. Has been reporting and anchoring in this town for many years. Hi, Rena.
Good morning. How are you?
You know, I'm good, and it's great to have you on during our new time on Real Talk with Roshini. Thanks for being with us this Sunday. It is a strange time, or strange times we're living in.
All is well.
I mean, how do you make news decisions at those meetings every day?
You know, well, and of course everything's handled even on that end differently now too, because all the news meetings are virtual. So
exactly.
Instead of sitting around a table and hashing it out, we sit around a Zoom call and hash that all out. But and I know people find this hard to believe, but before all this, you know, we took our jobs very seriously and how we weighed things and what we were putting out there and the implications of what we put out there. And now more than ever, those conversations are happening behind the scenes. And also realizing that along the way that maybe we weren't doing things that were in the best interest of folks, that we didn't realize biases that we were you know, perhaps putting out there and contributing to some problems that we're having in our society. So all of that is something that we have really, lifted up the cloak and looked under the hood and said, how can we be better at what we do? And because our job is to be a service to this community. And so all of those conversations have been going on behind the scenes.
All right. So let's take COVID, for example. Even the scientists have had mixed messages. Politicians politicize the topic. So how do you and your news colleagues take what's given to you and then try to put it out there to the world in a way that's fair?
Well, I think, you know, we know so little about this disease right now, so it's natural that things are going to change. But I think you do have to lean to the side of science right now, because otherwise, what do you have? I mean, we certainly can go with our gut instinct, but I'm not sure that that's the answer. And you know what? Sometimes science gets things wrong, or they figure out that what they thought was true in all of their findings turned out to be maybe, something slightly different. But I do think as journalists, we are erring on the side of science when it comes to COVID. And, I think that also you have to weigh where the information's coming from and how reliable are the sources that it's coming from. You know, Mayo Clinic, in our eyes, is a very reliable source. So if something's coming from Mayo Clinic, we tend to say, that's great. If it's coming from, John's Hospital, in the middle of somewhere we never heard anymore, maybe we want to double, check those facts.
Check those facts, yeah.
Yeah. So, it's all about where the information's coming from, who it's coming from, and can you vet it? And some things we can't vet. I can't vet scientific studies. That's just not something I can do. So the best we can do is hope that the scientists are doing the best that they can right now and get that information to the public.
We're talking with Rena Sarigianopoulos, anchor at KARE TV, Channel 11. If you have any questions for her, give us a call, give us a text, 651-989-9226. All right, so in the grand scheme of things, and you're very active on Twitter, you have Instagram. Twitter, good thing, bad thing for news?
Ooh. Can something be both at the same time?
Yes, there can be a duality, Rena.
Yes. Well, our lives, I feel like, are duality at this point. But no, Twitter is both good and bad. I feel like Twitter is a great way for people to get information rapidly. I also think that the dregs of society live on Twitter.
Yep.
So it's all, you take it all with a grain of salt, right? I mean, it's just, you use it for what you need it for, and then you just gotta not really take in the rest of it and let it get under your skin. There's just so much negativity out there, and there's a lot of misinformation, as we know, out there as well too. But so just, yeah, it is what it is, and we just have to take it with a grain of salt.
Checking sources so important. Another thing I look at, especially when someone maybe has a derogatory remark or they're just being a troll, I look at how many followers do they actually have. And if they really don't have a lot of followers, I don't want to fuel the flame, and I will just ignore a comment. What are your thoughts about that approach?
I'll be honest. There's people that have different feelings about this and how you tackle things on Twitter. You know, my cohort and pal and friend over at KARE 11, Jana Shortle, very much goes after people if they say something negative or if they're, being a troll. And I just tend to ignore all of that because to me, there's no reason to bring any attention to that extra negativity. And my whole thought is I'm not going to change someone's mind in, 160 characters or whatever it is, 140 characters. And so to me, it's not worth the negative energy that it makes me feel to go ahead and engage with that human. And again, like you said, you're fanning the flames, you're fueling the fire. What's the point? If you're not going to have meaningful dialogue and debate, and most of those people do not want to have meaningful dialogue and debate, so I'm not going to waste my good energy on them.
Right. I mean, certainly if there's a point of clarification that you can clarify and add to the stream of facts and truth maybe out there, it matters. Sure. But I also tell people that, my work with executives and some of them or their teams are using social. Sometimes you just need a break from it too.
Oh, absolutely. You know what? I'm not. I mean, I have all the things and the stuff because you're supposed to when you do this in the line of work. But I'm very good at shutting it off when I need to shut it off, and I'm also very good about a lot of times I just use social media to put something just lighthearted or more funny out there than to use it as a news tool. Just to lighten the mood because I think you need a little more levity in times like these.
Amen to that. Well, what a lot of viewers of yours don't maybe know is how much you share of your time in a donation kind of way, a pro bono way, with a lot of charities, a lot of local and national charities. And I think it's amazing what you do with the Arthritis Foundation. 54 million Americans live with arthritis. And you have a story that I didn't even know all the elements of until we got ready for today. Can you share that story? And then we'll get into why you want 30 seconds of people's time.
Yeah, it's not something that often comes up in conversation, so it's something that people don't know a lot about me, don't know this point about me, I should say. But I was diagnosed with juvenile rheumatoid arthritis as a young adult. I was 21 years old when I was diagnosed with the disease, and it knocked me on my butt, so to speak. I spent months in and out of the hospital. I lived in Ohio at the time. I spent a Thanksgiving in the Cleveland Clinic once, and they finally were able to get it under control and manage it with drugs, and I went into remission. But I mean, I had to take the better part of a year out of my college career before graduating to manage the disease. And so when I became an adult and I was approached by the Arthritis Foundation here in town to join forces with them, they didn't even know my story. And I just thought, you know what, this is someone greater than me reaching out and saying, you need to get involved with this, because I don't think people realize that kids can get arthritis. And it's horrible and debilitating. And I just wanted people to know about that. So that's been my 15-year mission now, is just to try to raise awareness for this disease.
Yeah, and it's amazing. So for people who might end up in your same boat at the age of 21, how did you, were you just really in pain all the time and you went to the doctors and they diagnosed that, or how did you get to that diagnosis?
Well, it started off with a swollen knee. My right knee was really swollen, and I had a sore throat, and I just wasn't feeling well. And then all of a sudden it was a knuckle on my left hand, and then it was an elbow. And so we went in and they did, a battery of tests, and, they thought it was lupus at one point. They thought maybe I had lymphatic cancer at one point, so you go through months and months of testing and trying different drugs, and then realizing you're allergic to the drugs that they're giving you. And then that ends you up in the hospital. And then finally you get to the Cleveland Clinic and they say, oh, no, this is what you have, and we're going to treat this, and we're going to get it under control. And the thing is, I was an adult when it happened, but they're 2-year-olds that get arthritis. There's
Wow.
infants that get arthritis. And I don't think people realize there's two different diseases here, right? So the arthritis that most people think of is osteoarthritis. And that's the arthritis that most every one of us is going to get as we get older, right? Grandma's hands can't open the pickle jar anymore, or, your elbow starts to hurt when you're 54 years old because, arthritis is in the joint now. But rheumatoid arthritis is an autoimmune disease, and that is when our own bodies attack us, and it causes things. It causes arthritis, but it causes things in places you wouldn't suspect. You can have arthritis in your eyes. You can have arthritis in your soft tissue. It's not just something that's attacking joints, and there are people who are debilitated by it. And kids, they look normal from the outside, but they can't play soccer today because their ankles are so swollen and their arthritis is flaring up, and they have to go get a transfusion at the clinic, for the medication that they're taking. And so they're missing out on activities with friends. And so I think that there's a lot about the disease that people don't understand. But the kid part is the thing that just gets me because it's stunk as an adult.
Yes.
So I can only imagine how awful it is for kiddos that don't have the bandwidth there, to express how they're feeling and to let their peers know how they're feeling.
Well, you and people at the Arthritis Foundation are really trying to come together to redefine what the world remembers about 2020. And that has to do with how you're championing a possible cure one day for these children. Tell us about the 30-second virtual gala.
Well, everyone had to switch to either canceling their galas or going virtual. And, we started this conversation talking about Zoom calls. I think we're just kind of over being on our phones and our computers and things of that nature. And so when we looked at it and thought, do we do a virtual gala? We just thought, I think we're all tired of that. We still need your help, but we're going to tell you why in 30 seconds. And so we put together just a little clip, and a young woman named Mila, she is telling her story about why Arthritis Foundation matters to her and what they've done for her. And, going to camp. These kids the Arthritis Foundation funds a Camp Cambria, where these kids can go and they meet other kids that are just like them that are going through the same thing. And this year, obviously, they can't do the overnight camp. So the Arthritis Foundation is trying to figure out how to do this virtually so that they can still have the same experience and still get to meet those kids. And it's in this time, they've seen a 75% increase in people who've been turning to the Arthritis Foundation for help and assistance. And so while the world keeps going, arthritis keeps happening, people still need our help, and the funds are down. And so we thought, let's do it in 30 seconds and see if we can convince people, hey, we still need your help right now.
Absolutely. Well, I have put that 30-second, the little video, which you did, and Mila's story. I mean, what a cutie she is. I put that on my Twitter. I tweeted that out. It's timed to sort of be tweeting about now as we were wrapping our conversation. So hopefully, it just went live on my Twitter. So you can go to Roshini R. You can also follow Rena at RenaCare11 and find out more about the 30-second gala. And it sounds like the needs are on the rise during these COVID times, Rena.
Oh, absolutely. And, the Arthritis Foundation has risen to the challenge, and they've been able to help more people as well, adding virtual resources as we've all had to pivot. The Arthritis Foundation has figured out a way to do that too. And so, trying to engage and support both caregivers and those who are living with arthritis, and still trying to fund the research towards a cure. And, one thing that they do is they fund a JA fellowship at the U of M to make sure that we have a pipeline of rheumatologists that, keep coming through, that we have good people that become doctors and can help, find a cure and help people manage this disease. So they're doing their best. And so we just, we're just saying, hey, we're still here and we still need you.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, good luck to you. And I know the official date is this week, but people can certainly take those 30 seconds and watch that video anytime, make a donation anytime. I know Arthritis Foundation will take your money, folks. So go online.
Roshini, can I just add one thing?
Yes.
If you donate before the 23rd, we do have someone who's generously said that they would match up to $17,000. So we're up until the 23rd. We have to raise $17,000, and we'll get that generously matched. So if people are so inclined to do so today or the next day or so, that would be fantastic.
That is awesome. All right, get those donations in by the 23rd of October. You have just a few days. Rena Sarigianopoulos, always a pleasure to have you on, and you just brighten our days. Continue to do the good stuff on KARE TV, and we look forward to chatting with you again.
Thanks for having me. I so appreciate you.